All right, everybody. Welcome to week 4 of studying and teaching the Bible. I am going to just give you an overall update on where you are right now. You've finished assignment 1, parts 1, 2, and 3, and I am going to post some videos here this week just to remind you on what those assignments so far should have looked like. And if you've got any questions on that, please don't hesitate to email or call me and ask me if you have any confusion on that. Remember, this first assignment is a big part of your grade. It's 30% of your grade. But also remember that you're not doing something this big, this foundational for your overall study of Jonah that you're doing for this course. Again, so this is the foundational piece that you're going to be using for your lesson prep and getting a good base for your understanding of Jonah. So I want to give you a rundown of how I'm going to do the grading at this point. You're going to see grades coming up. I know it's been slow with me transitioning back after your FYOP week on campus and you guys having that first assignment late and having so many students. I know you guys are wanting to see grades. And so basically what I'm looking for, at least with your first 2 weeks assignments, is I'm going to give you, most of you, when I post in your response to your assignment on the grading spot with my feedback, I'm basically just going to give you kind of what I was looking for, and I'm looking for whether you did those parts or not. I'm not getting super specific and critical of what and how you did it unless you basically missed how to do it altogether. So as long as you generally understood what to do and how to do it, you're going to get full credit there. On week 3, you had some application-oriented things that were involved in it. So I'm going to comment a little bit on week 3. So week 1 and 2, I'm going to post basically a generic, here's what I was looking for. So, if you're interacting with each other, most of you are going to get the same response because I'm posting, here's what I was looking for. Week 3, I'm going to interact because you had some application points. You're going to have different stuff that you guys were pulling from the assignment. So I'll give you a little bit of feedback for week 3. Then on week 4, let's see if I want to cover anything else. Oh, again, for the Psalm 139 piece of the assignment, I again am not doing much on there besides seeing that you did it. Again, I'm looking at that as more something that is giving you another passage from another book to do these same type of exercises. It relates back to Jonah. There's some correlations there that you needed to find. But I'm not grading really harshly on that. I was more looking that you got the concepts and we're doing a good job with that. So as long as you did it, you pretty much got full credit there. Okay. So then on to week 4, I'm posting another video that Professor Brian Smith did. That is really nice because it has a PowerPoint and shows you an example of how to do the audience needs assessment. But just as a reminder of that, for here we are in week 4. I'm just opening up what is on the announcement page for week 4. The audience needs assessment, again, it doesn't need to be real complicated. The video is going to walk you through most of what any questions you have for it, but you're going to be using the Creative Bible Teaching, Chapter 6. You can also use any additional material, and it's a survey of the group of students that you're going to be teaching to. So at this point, you need to know who the group of students that you're going to be teaching to, who they are. If you don't know who they are, you can't do this week's assignment. So you need to figure that out. An example is found in the Creative Bible Teaching book, page 107 to 108. But again, that video that I posted goes through all the nuances and details. So when you open up that page, it talks about things like even the why is my not responding? That's always a good message to get. Things like the physical, cognitive, psychosocial characteristics and needs of your group. The gender and age. So you're going to have general age group and general characteristics of your group that you're going to observe, specific characteristics of the group, some of their interests and abilities. So you've got a group of I'm going to be speaking to 9-year-old debate team captains that are all Girl Scouts, and their parents all work for a missions organization in Kenya, for instance. That'd be very specific. It's a very specific group characteristic. A lot of you guys aren't going to have that many. If it's a youth group at church, for instance, you're going to share that, but you're going to give some of the nuances of the group. So, some of them may be more interested in sports, some of them are more musical, some of them are interested in all sorts of things. He's going to give you some examples in that video. You're going to talk about the points of ministry contact that you as a teacher have with the students, and then you're going to start this aspect of the lesson plan. So the exegetical idea, the pedagogical idea, meaning what is the author saying in the passage, that's the exegetical idea. The pedagogical, that sounds like a big word, it's really not that scary. What does the teacher want the students to learn? So you're going to be thinking through that. Oftentimes you may not have, if you've taught something before, hopefully some of you have, you may not have actually thought through the simple question of, what do I actually want the people I'm teaching to learn? You may have a whole lesson plan, you might have your Bible passage, but what do you actually want them to learn? And that's something that every teacher has at the forefront of their mind when they're making lesson plans. So those are some of the things you're going to be going through for that. This past week, if you haven't noticed, discussion boards. If you had me, or if you've taken Church and Its Doctrines last term as an FYOP student, then you know that in that class, the discussion board was a major part of the class, and the types of things you're studying really catered towards discussing in a discussion board forum. In this class, I think we only have 4 weeks of discussion boards, so it's not a major part of the course. It's not as big a part of your grade either. And then some of the questions in discussion aren't. I don't want to downplay the significance. I want you guys to really put a lot of effort into these. But at the same time, you're doing in this course a lot more work in terms of the lesson planning, and it's not just do reading and take a quiz or write a paper each week, right? So I'm not pushing the discussions as much, and I also am kind of adding some things. Like I posted that video about Jonah, and wanted you guys to kind of bring that in. When I post something during the week that's related to the lesson, but it may not be specifically related to the discussion board, feel free to use that in the discussion board forum. And if you post on that, I'll count that as one of your discussion posts. So that last week was on discussing aspects of the historical background. One aspect of the historical background that you found interesting. So most of you did a good job with this, but at the same time, I just want to give you a little bit of what I was looking for. I'll probably post this for a lot of this info for the week where I grade your week 1 stuff. But under things like the author, the book doesn't really state who wrote it, unlike Paul's letters and some of the prophets that state exactly who the author is, right? But the only source for much of the information could only be Jonah himself. He's the guy given the details there. But being a source doesn't prove he wrote it himself. So it does say Jonah was the son of Amittai from Gath-Hepher, and is mentioned in 2 Kings 14:25. So we can't say confidently that Jonah wrote it, although it's likely him or someone close to him, right? So the recipients, he preached to the Ninevites, but the book is in the Hebrew canon and now the Christian canon. So the initial recipients were the Jews, but now everyone. Location, we don't know where it was written. Cities mentioned were Joppa, which I just got to go to a couple weeks ago in Israel. It was very cool, just south of modern-day Tel Aviv. It's a seaport on the coast of the Mediterranean, like I said, south of Tel Aviv. Tarshish, which was is an unknown location, but it's the opposite direction, obviously, of Nineveh. Nineveh was the capital of Assyria. The last verse refers to 120,000 people who don't know left hand from right. This could refer to total population or just the children. So population between 600,000 and 1 million, we're guessing. date, 8th century BC, the reign of Jeroboam, and 30 years before the fall of Israel by Assyria. And the purpose, God is far more compassionate to the lost and the pagans than Jonah. God's compassion involves a call to repentance. God is sovereign over all, the wind, sea, fish, plants, prophets, sailors. And we know that Jonah is prefigures Jesus. And how am I like Jonah? Question to ask. The answer is I'm a lot more like Jonah than I want to admit, right? There's a bit of Jonah in all of us, or at least that spirit, that dynamic that Jonah was wrestling with is something that is a part of something that we had to deal with temptation-wise as human beings. And yet we know that what he gave into and what God demonstrated in his relationship with him should drive us back to relationship with God and who we're created to be and who we are meant to live out as our identity as sons and daughters of the King. So that kind of summarizes some of the historical background details of the book. If you have any questions on that, feel free to let me know. I've covered where we're at up to this point, the discussion board and the audience needs assessment for this week. So I think that should put you guys in good shape. But as usual, feel free to email me or call me if you have any questions. And look forward to seeing these lessons come together and as you guys gain some more confidence and get into really studying an entire book and feeling confident with what you are learning how to apply of your studies. So enjoy. Talk to you soon.